Hey everyone, welcome to your workout. Like we do with almost every workout, we're going to begin by warming up with the movements that we're going to do during the actual exercise time today. So again, we'd love to invite you to join us. Our first move is a deadlift. Remember that these warm-ups are meant to be easy. We rarely include weight in these. The idea here is that you're just moving really well. So again, you'll see us doing a deadlift right now, kind of that hinge pattern. If you're doing that, you're reaching down towards the ground, you're pushing your hips backwards, and then we're going to follow that. Our second move is a squat. These warm-ups go pretty quick. So I always kind of remind everybody the beauty of having a video. If we're ever going too fast for you, totally pause it. Do however many reps you want to do, however much time you want to do until you're good and loose and feeling ready for these two movements. We want you to know these are coming. We want you to be prepped and ready to move well. So again, take whatever time you need to deadlift and squat well, all right? Now, we're going to take a small break here to go ahead and get ready. You'll see me grab my kettlebell, get my band, kind of get whatever I need. We'll invite you to do the same. Maggie, you'll see, almost always does a round of body weight. Sometimes she grabs a backpack. So again, take whatever time you need, pause that video, get what you need so that you can do these next couple exercises. And we'll dive into what's going to happen here in just a little bit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's begin our deadlifts. Now, before we talk about anything else, intentions. Your goal here, this first round, is to look good and to feel good. We're not worried about if it feels like exercise. We're not worried about having perfect form. We never worry about that, right? We worry about looking good and feeling good. You're concerned, you're focused on that exclusively. You're ironing out the wrinkles. Again, you're just paying attention to how you move right here. And if anything doesn't feel good, you change it up a little bit. That's always okay. That's always our permission. Our hope for you is that you change things up so that you move the best way that you can. Now, you've got about 10 more seconds, and that leads into our talk about what to expect today. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a 15-second break. Get ready for your squat. All right, so a quick little heads up. You're going to have these two movements, your deadlift and your squat. We're going to go 3 rounds. It's going to take about 6 minutes. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's begin those squats. Now, if you've kind of already picked up from it, each exercise is going to be 45 seconds long with a 15-second break in between to transition between the two movements, right? To get ready from either a squat to a deadlift or a deadlift to a squat. That means each exercise takes pretty much exactly 1 minute, right? So 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of break, times 2 exercises, right? 2 minutes. And we're going to go 3 rounds today of each of these. So each of these little supersets is going to take us 6 minutes. Now, after we get done with these 3 rounds, we're going to take a little over a minute to do some active recovery, to get your heart rate down, to get you stretched. And then we're going to do almost a repeat of the time in the sets with 2 different exercises. 3, 2, 1. Excellent job with those squats. Let's get ready for deadlift round 2. All in all, this is going to be a 15-minute workout, right? With everything included. 3, 2, 1, begin. But you know what? You already saw how long it was take when you clicked on the video, right? You know what's coming at you. I always like you to know a little bit deeper though, right? Kind of the exercises to expect. Now today, our strength, this is a strength day, is going to focus exclusively on our lower body. So you already know you're doing 2 lower body exercises right now, right? We've got our deadlift going. We pair that with a squat. Our next round, right, just something for you to know, we're going to work on our lunges. Now, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do lunges, I promise you, you can. And we're going to talk through that. But right now, your focus is squarely on these exercises and specifically on this deadlift. Round 2, our intention is to build on what you've already done. So are you making sure that it looks and feels good? Yes. Can you dial it up a little bit? Can these reps look a little bit better than they did the last time? 2, 1, give yourselves a little break. Transition for your squat. Again, if you need different equipment, if you want to adjust and set it up a little differently, you can. 4, 3, 2, 1, begin. And let's continue that thought of dialing it up. Round 2 is about making it a little bit better, ideally, than how you were doing it on round 1. Do these squats, look and feel good. Do you feel a little more proud of them? Are you starting to smooth it out? Are you a little more in control? Those are all the things that we're looking for. There's lots of different ways to do that, so I don't want to step on your toes. If you have a system where you're thinking, yeah, I'm getting warmed up, I'm feeling a lot better here, it's smooth, I'm capable of doing more, you keep rocking it. Not going to step on you. If you're not quite sure, My favorite place to start is always in the core. Every time that you stand up, whether it's a deadlift or a squat, flex those tummy muscles. Move that flex out into those glutes and those legs. 3, 2, 1. Take a little break and get ready for your last round. I promised you 3. We're only going to do 3. So one more round of deadlifts, one more round of squats. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round of deadlift. Begin. Awesome. All right. Now our intention for round 3, make it feel like exercise, right? Sometimes easier said than done. Sometimes you're thinking, oh man, it's just not as challenging as I need it to be. Well, there's some things you can do. The easiest thing to do is speed up, right? Just do more reps here. Cram more reps into less time. That absolutely will get your heart rate up and get that intensity flowing a little bit more. Another way to do it is to add weight. If you have a backpack, you throw another water bottle in there. If you have one dumbbell or one kettlebell, you're probably kind of stuck with the weight, that is. But again, you can throw it up with a little speed. You can, kind of change the technique a little bit. And we'll learn more about that in future videos. 3, 2, 1. In the meantime, I'll leave it to you to just think about making it a little more intense, right? Make it feel like just right amounts of exercise. 4, 3, 2, 1, and our last round of squats. Go ahead and begin. Stand up tall and proud. Keep in mind that your priorities always stay the same. Highest priority is to look good and feel good. If you feel like you can do that, then you're adding that core flex. You're adding that sense of accomplishment here, that sense of, man, I'm getting better with every rep. That's what we're looking for. And if you feel like you can do those 2 things, if those 2 things are right where you want them to be, then you make it feel like exercise. And we already talked about that. If you need to speed it up, sometimes slowing it down can work. Sometimes changing your technique can make it a little more intense. You do what you need to do, but if it's not quite feeling like exercise today, don't sweat it. It's okay. You're going to have other opportunities here. 3, 2, 1, and we're done with those 3 rounds. Congratulations. Nicely done. If you're going to join us on this part, we love doing what's called a little active recovery. And I always like to remind everybody, we really focus on both parts of that phrase. The recovery part, absolutely. And you'll see us, one of our favorite ways to do that is to do some down dog reps and some child's poses. If you're not quite sure what those phrases mean, just kind of mimic what Maggie and I are doing. Get into that high plank or that push-up position, push your hips up towards the ceiling, and feel that stretch go all the way through your backside. You absolutely may have a bend in your knees. You'll see that sometimes I'll cycle one leg up, one leg back, so I can feel the stretch in one versus the other. Sometimes I try to keep my legs straight. Again, you do what works for you. Sometimes it feels good just to drop down into that child's pose. You'll see Mags and I do that here in a second. And even though it looks like we're just sometimes laying there, here's where you focus on taking deep breaths. Sometimes you'll see our arms stretch out in front of us and maybe we twist one way or the other. But the goal here is for you to recover and get ready for what's coming next, but also to stay a little active, to stay a little loose, stay a little mobile. Take some breaths. It's okay. 3, 2, 1. All right. Here comes the second half of your workout. I promised you're going to do some lunges. Like we said, we're going to keep it to a lower body. Instead of jumping right in, we're going to do the same thing that we did at the beginning. We're going to warm up with the movements here, and we'll talk about different things that you can do. So let's begin. Get into whatever lunge pattern you want to. Now, a quick kind of a word on terminology, right? A lunge is a lot like a squat, but one leg is typically forward, one leg is backward. Sometimes we do a side lunge or a curtsy lunge, and we'll talk about those. You might even see me do those. The difference between this and what's called a split squat, some people just love keeping their feet in place. They don't like stepping. That's okay. It's slightly different than a lunge, but not really that much, okay? You do what makes sense for you. And again, sometimes people feel better when they alternate those lunges. Sometimes we do that. Sometimes we'll switch legs, right? So you saw me do that right now. I switched. There's forward lunges. There's backward lunges. Again, if lunges don't quite agree with your body, don't go down as far. You know, change it up. Don't step out as far. If they just don't work for you, you can try step ups. You can go up and down stairs, or just go back to squats, wall sits. They're all so similar. At this point, I just want you to move and to move well. All right, great job. You've warmed up your lunges. Now we're getting ready to go. Okay, again, we're going to get both sides here. 3, 2, 1. If you'd like to, grab a weight. Pick whichever foot is going to do the stepping and then choose a direction and begin. We're going to go for 45 seconds. Like we did last time, you're going to have a 15-second break. So right now, your sole intention is to look good and feel good. And I know you're focused on you. Every once in a while, put your eyes up on Mags or me, and you'll notice we do a little wobble. We don't have perfect balance. We don't expect you to have perfect balance. The goal is to get better. The goal is to embrace the messiness and then say, okay, I'm going to get a little bit better here, and that's always okay. Move good, move well, make sure it feels about right for you. Well done. Awesome. Okay, that was your first 45 seconds. Again, whatever leg you were stepping with, just get ready to switch the other leg. Okay, now I like to kind of follow one leg with exactly what I did with the other leg. I'm going to encourage you to try that. 2, 1, begin. That being said, some people can lunge with their right leg and then their left leg's not so good, right? And I'm not even talking about like balance. Like it's painful for their left leg to do this. If that's the case, do something different. As always, if you're feeling pain, stop what you're doing. We never want you to push through pain here. It's not that kind of pain. We're not looking for that. Do we ever say push through a little discomfort? Maybe, right? In terms of fatigue or challenge. But if it's painful in the joint or the muscle, something's going wrong and we want you to change it up. And the only reason I bring that up is that lunges just tend to kind of awaken that in some people. They are more challenging exercises. So again, just my extra caution there for you. Make sure it's feeling good. That's always the first part for you. 3, 2, 1, and take a little break. All right. So again, lunges, they're really similar. It feels like you're doing the same thing, and you kind of are. You're just switching legs up. Okay. So again, we're looking for round 2. 3, 2, 1, begin. And if you'd like to, do something a little different. Now, that first round, I was doing forward lunges. This time, I'm taking a step back. It changes it up a little bit. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm holding that weight in one hand. We call this a suitcase hold. This is a way to change the intensity of it. For me, it always makes it a little more challenging because I'm having to work on my balance a little bit more, right? That weight is pulling me in one direction. So it's kind of a creative way just to add a little more challenge to it. Again, we'll talk about eventually making it feel like exercise. Changing your step, changing how you're holding your weight, great way to play around with that and just see what happens to the whole challenge of the system. 3, 2, 1, take a little break. Get ready to switch sides. Whew, take a breath. Overall, should be feeling like exercise, right? You've been going for almost 12 minutes here. 2, 1, begin. If you include the warm-up time, you've been going for longer than 12 minutes, which I do include the warm-up time. I love it. All right, stepping in whatever direction makes sense for you. When you're standing up, stand up tall and proud, and that brings me into the intention for round 2. Make it a little bit better. We talked about this with our deadlift and our squat. Your goal here is to keep building off of what you've done. So we already know you're looking good. We already know you're feeling good. If that's the case, let's add just a little more oomph to it. My favorite version of this, like I said, is to add that core. Get that belly tight. If your belly can go tight, get your glute, get your butt muscles tight. If those can be tight as well, think about your legs, think about your arms, think about your whole body. Be tight for just a moment in time. And then relax and get back into that lunge again. 2, 1, and set it down. Shake it out. Take a breath. As always, if you need a little more breathing time, pause the video. Get yourself a sip of water. When you're ready, start it back up. We'll be ready for you. Otherwise, let's get ready to go on our last round. 3, 2, 1, begin. Now I'm doing 2 things here. Those of you that have an exercise band, it's optional, right? For lunges, it works. My preference is always to hold a weight, right? A kettlebell, a dumbbell, or a backpack. If all you have is a band, exercise tubing, you can totally be creative with this. My favorite version of this is standing on the band itself, right? That foot doesn't go anywhere, and then I step with the free leg. Now, you're also seeing me do a side lunge here as a reminder for you that lunges can be in different directions. So again, you can play around with this. The next round, right, or when I switch legs, you're going to see me keep the band on this foot. It gets a little more challenging that way. 3, 2, 1. Take yourselves a 15-second break. Get ready for that last set of lunges. Last set. Take a breath. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's do it. So again, I had never really tested it this way. I had done lunges with a band on the planted foot, and I thought, I'm going to try it on the free foot. It's definitely different. It's not my favorite way to do it, but again, that doesn't mean that I shouldn't do it, right? It did look good. It did feel good. It just was making me move a little differently. And sometimes I encourage that, right? Sometimes I like to challenge myself here and see how it goes. So again, if you have a band, put it under one of your feet and test it out. We love testing things here. We love kind of embracing that scientist in you. You're pursuing knowledge, right? You're testing it out. You're not worried if you make a little mistake. You're not worried if you get messy because you'll learn something from it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Congratulations. You nailed it. Leg day. Kind of tough, right? It's challenging not to give yourself a little break from that, right? When we always focus on our legs. So well done on the sticking with it part. Well done on the strength and using a little resistance. We're proud of you for moving well. The last thing we're going to do is go back to our active recovery. And here's where I'll remind you, while we love these down dog reps, it's great for our backsides, gets a good little stretch even in our shoulders. If you have another option, if you have another movement that maybe you've seen us do or that you picked up somewhere else, you go ahead and do that. This is not a magical move. It's not the one that you have to do by any means. We just encourage you to, 1, recover, and number 2, to keep it active. So again, do what you need to do. Now, with the last 30 seconds here, I'll give you the reminder. You might have another exercise in you. It might be something that you're choosing to do on your own. Maybe you're going for a walk. Maybe you're going to do some, personal core. Maybe you want to get some upper body in. That's always fine. Maybe we've given you some homework, right? If you kind of subscribe and you get our programs that we kind of put out week by week and month by month, maybe we've given you something else. If that's the case, when you're done with this part, go ahead and begin your other exercise. Otherwise, you might just be doing your own thing, and that's always okay. If this is your first time here, or if you're just doing this as kind of your workout of the day, we loved having you. Thank you so much. Call it a day, and give yourself a pat on the back. I'm going to let Maggie wrap us up here.
Well, hey everyone, Maggie here. We would love for you to subscribe to this channel. We have a lot more workout videos with different focuses and different lengths of time that we would love for you to check out. And if you subscribe, you'll kind of always be in the loop on what we're coming up with. Thanks again for joining us, gang. Make it a great day.